What's going on, guys? It's your boy Panda here, and welcome back to the channel. If you guys are seeing this video, it means XDefiant is officially out, and I wanted to bring you guys the best beginner guide settings for controller on XDefiant. These apply to both PlayStation and Xbox controllers. Mouse and keyboard, I'm sorry, but that's all I have for now. This isn't going to include graphic settings. I'll be making a follow-up video on that after I play with it a little bit more to kind of see the best performance on everything. But if you guys want to, if you're seeing this right when it comes out, or at least a couple hours after, there'll be a link down in the description to my Twitch, twitch.tv/PanduhWasTaken. I'll be live all week long with drops enabled for week 1 of the drops for XDefiant, so you can earn Battle Pass XP, Weapon XP, and camos if you guys want to. Come on over, show your support there. And if you guys enjoyed this video, smash that like button and subscribe. Subscribing's free. It's the best way to support me here on the channel. Enough yapping. Let's hop into today's video. Alright, so keep in mind that all these settings are subject to how you play and how you might feel about the game for sensitivities, aim assist types, and all sorts of stuff like that. But this is kind of how I play from a baseline. If you guys want to see what maybe I do and why I do it, I'm going to explain that throughout this video. So starting out, I use an Xbox Series 2 Elite controller with 2 paddles on the back. The reason I do this is because in most games I change my button layout to something that makes my thumbstick my crouch button. So in this case, in XDefiant, my button layout's going to be set to brawler. So what this does is replaces my circle or B button, whatever you guys want to call it, and it replaces what that is with the right stick. So now my melee is my B button, and my right stick is going to be my crouch and slide and all sorts of stuff like that with the right stick. It would be prone if they had it in this game. So that's what I do for this one. For stick layout, I don't touch that at all. I leave it default. I don't like to invert my sticks or do anything like that. It doesn't help my brain in any way. For aim assist type, I'm going to be using the standard aim assist. So for the first aim assist setting on the settings, I'm going to be on standard. That's the one that feels the most responsive for me. And these two next settings are pretty crucial, and I'll explain them. Aim assist strength and aim assist follow. I put both of these to 0. If you've played any kind of first-person shooters in the past, you probably would want to set these to 0 as of now, because these just add a little too much sticky slash kind of like hold on other characters when aiming. For me, I'm not able to transition from shot to shot with these have any kind of like number on them, so I keep them at 0 just to be safe, because for me, I like snapping from target to target, and I noticed that these two come into effect a lot more at longer distances. So make sure to set both of these up to 0, or play with the numbers maybe if you like to have a little more kind of stickiness over distance. But for me, those are definitely two that are very important, as well as the next one, aim response curve type. I put mine on linear. Some people do the S type, which reverse S type is the most raw input, I believe. So that is like your dynamic over on Call of Duty. For me, I like the linear input. I like that my sticks are a little more snappy, but they still kind of have a little more play in them, so they're not just direct everything I'm doing. I do play with control freaks, so that's probably why I enjoy the linear feel a little bit more. Now, the next two, obviously, these are going to be subject to personal preference. Horizontal sensitivity and vertical sensitivity. I set both of these to 55, and as the game's going on and as I play more and more and get more used to using controller again, I'm going to be upping these as I go. I think in the last playtest I went all the way up to 85, and then changed my look sensitivities to kind of match with those. Some games like this, when they have really good fluid movement, the higher the sensitivity, the better, and the better the game feels for you in a sense. So I would say when I go through and do my next kind of settings guide for graphics and controller and movement and all that, you will probably see my horizontal and vertical sensitivities increase. For my controller aim look sensitivity factor, I put that on 0.9 times. That's just kind of how I like it. I like to be right under that threshold, especially with a lower sensitivity. As I go up in sensitivity, I will then move my factors down more so that I can kind of make up that kind of snappiness when aiming down sights. Controller aim scope look sensitivity, this is more for sniping. I turn that down 1 notch always from whatever my aim look sensitivity is. I'm always 0.10 below that every single time. This one is going to be preference based off on your controller dead zones for your left and right stick. I put mine to 5. I can get away sometimes with 3, but I still have a hint of stick drift here and there with that. But 5 is like my happy median where I have no stick drift whatsoever, so I like to keep those. Right now, a setting that I'm playing a lot with is the acceleration speed multiplier. On the linear type, this isn't affected, so I just leave it alone at 1.0, but if you play on the other two, dynamic and I believe it's standard, or I mean, sorry, S curve in standard, you want to put this down to 0 because this is acceleration. Basically, this is the equivalent of like mouse acceleration to your thumbsticks. And if you want to have the most accuracy and be the most accurate overall, you don't want to have any like advanced acceleration or added acceleration that the game is doing it for yourself. Horizontal and vertical inverting, I don't do anything like that. And controller vibration, turn that shit off. I don't know how we still have controller vibration in video games. I don't know why people enjoy that. It's a setting that I just feel like messes more people up than helps them. So these are kind of the base settings that I would say you could start off with, and now we're gonna get a little bit more into the gameplay settings so you can kind of understand what more you can do to help your gameplay a lot better. So we talked about your controller settings. Now these are going to be settings that you can use probably on keyboard and mouse, but for me, these are settings that I think are crucial to making XDefiant flow as a multiplayer game, to get the most fluid movement, to get the best view of everything. These are crucial settings. Starting out field of view, I play on 115. I don't play all the way at 120. This is just a personal preference thing, but I would say anything from 107 and above is your best field of view option. Field of view is big and important when it comes to seeing things at a larger scale. A higher field of view will always make your game feel much faster. It makes the game flow faster. It makes everything just kind of move around at a higher speed. So if you're like me and you like to play more like a crackhead, the higher the FOV, the better. ADS field of view, this is a very important one. There's a couple on here that I think are super important. This is one of them. So for your ADS field of view, you want consistent. The way this works is when you're looking down sights, rather than you zooming into your gun more, your FOV will stay at the current FOV. So at 115, my ADS behind my weapon into my sight is also 115, not going back down to 80 or 90 or whatever the base level that the game has is. ADS behold behavior, or behavior is hold. That should be something in every first-person shooter. I don't like to click my trigger and just have my gun stay aimed on sights. I want it to hold and do that. The most important setting out of all of these, in my opinion, ADS sensitivity transition. You want that to be instant. This just makes the game feel snappier. It makes your aiming from player to player feel snappier, and it makes your aiming from running out of a sprint just feel way, way better. This is probably the most crucial kind of setting, in my opinion, that should be changed for everyone. Just set it to instant and just go play the game. You'll notice a major difference. The one cool thing about XDefiant is there is a firing range. You can hop in the firing range and try out all of your weapons and your settings, so you don't have to do it in-game and get a bunch of deaths. Melee during ADS, I turn that off. I keep that off. I just don't enjoy it. I don't know, it feels a little buggy and stuff. I don't know, personal preference. I'm not a shot puncher. Aiming interrupts reload, keep that on. There's another one on here that I'm going to talk about in a second that is important. So whenever you aim down sights, you can just reload the weapon. Crouch behavior set to toggle rather than hold. Auto sprint, I keep mine on just to save my sticks. I don't want to have to keep pressing it to run. I just want to keep my controller's lifespan longer. That's what I do. Sprint interrupts reload. This is a 50-50 setting in my opinion. I'm used to Call of Duty. I'm used to reload canceling. This is something I've done my whole life. It is like ingrained in my head as a second nature thing. So I always keep this on. So sprint interrupt reload, that is my go-to thing. Auto switch weapon, I put that and the reload on. I think that just being able to switch your weapons when out of ammo and stuff like that, that's important. I don't know. That's a setting you can play with on your own. There's not like a major like necessity for those. And then one that is also really important, auto grab ledge off. I hate it. There's been too many times I get into a gunfight, I go to bunny hop and I mantle and stuff. So auto grab ledge, turn that off. It is a setting that will get you killed 9 times out of 10 when getting into a gunfight. All right, so that is just kind of the base, kind of meat and potatoes, how I feel you guys should play XDefiant as a starting point. Get these settings down, learn these settings the best, and then as we go into getting more of the gameplay, more of the settings and everything, I will update you guys with my personal best settings for movement, graphics, FPS, and so much more. So XDefiant is here, boys. The first video of the release of XDefiant is officially live here right now on the channel. You guys are watching it. I appreciate all the love and support here on the channel recently. If you guys are new here, make sure to subscribe. We'll be uploading all the time. Head over to the Twitch if you guys want to see some live gameplay and watch that weapon grind and camo grind that we're going on right now, as well as the faction grind and so much more. But that's all I got for this one, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope it helped you in some way, and I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, boys, I love you guys to death. Deuces.